What is up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining back in. Today, we are going to discuss CNN's disdain for ICE. Man, do they ultimately, just hate ICE. They do not like the rules, the regulations, and the fact that there's any immigration being enforced at all. You know, CNN, the way they broadcast and how they frame things, opposing ICE, undermining exactly what they're doing, and telling false narratives against ICE. They're out there trying to keep us safe. Not every situation is going to be perfect. Absolutely not. There is some collateral damage. The initial criminal act that they're forgetting is crossing illegally. That's number one. And if these folks are in the country illegally, if they happen to have a DUI, a domestic violence charge, or anything petty, anything as small as petty charge, they're possible for extinguishment. And I mean, going back to their own country, extinguishment from this country.
There have been at least 170 U.S. citizens that have been detained by ICE. We have seen people get scooped up because they're black in Chicago. U.S. citizen blacks put into U-Haul trucks, in the back of U-Haul trucks. We have seen teenagers pinned to the ground. The vast majority of the people who have been detained do not have criminal records.
So CNN hates that this is being regulated. They really, really hate it. So they bring on a whole cast there to argue with Scott Jennings and this other lady to convince us that they are just so bad. How ICE has basically changed the standards of which they offer admission, and 15 push-ups instead of 20 or something of that sort. So they're lowering the standards, and CNN kind of uses that for a DUI type of push argument, which is so stupid.
I hope they don't lower the standard, because the last I checked, it was the DEI candidates that needed the standard lowered. But now it seems like the people who want to work for ICE might get their standards. Let's just see how this all plays out.
But we're going to focus on the ICE situation that CNN continues to perpetuate perpetuate the fallacies, what ICE is truly doing. And it could be harmful. There's even been a lot of regulation against the masking here in California. They want to abolish the mask. Totally leave these people susceptible to just, it's an open territory on them. And be doxxed, take their picture. They have to be conspicuous they have to be conspicuous given the work that they're doing. Or else, they're going to see them coming from a mile away. They're going to have warnings. California has completely put up barriers and laws, state laws, to avoid and evade ICE. And they want us to participate. Absolutely not. Let's go ahead and look at this clip. And it's just so ridiculous, man.
I think this lack of not only the athletic aspect, but also the civics aspect is showing in the interactions we are seeing. There have been at least 170 U.S. citizens that have been detained by ICE. We have seen people get scooped up because they're black in Chicago. U.S. citizen blacks put into U-Haul trucks.
I definitely want to fact check that. I'm not going to continue. Look at Scott's face real quick. But I want to fact check that because she's correct. But as I mentioned, that is collateral damage. That is folks who are evading. Those are folks who are harboring these fugitives and these illegal immigrants, and sometimes the worst of the worst. These are people who are interfering. Yes, they may be Americans and they're collateral damage. That don't mean necessarily they're going to be deported, but your ass is held by ICE and they pretty much can do what they want. It's almost like being in federal prison. And eventually you'll be let go, but you will be charged for your wrongdoing and probably harboring or probably interfering or probably something of that such. Wrong information, false information, all different types of that's what has been going on. And that is the cause of the 170.
That even folks who are in favor of deporting everybody, I would hope that there would be some
Everybody.
agreement
So dramatic.
that people need to be allowed to show ID, that they can't just be scooped up in that way. And
how are
have
they
their
going to show
rights
ID if they ain't
violated.
citizens?
It's just
They're
inhumane
illegal.
what we are seeing in the streets of America.
Well, in California,
The
they can.
standard
They can
shouldn't
have
be lowered
IDs.
just to meet a quota.
Okay, I just have to respond to this. If you are housing or living with somebody in MS-13 or a gang
crazy.
member, it is very possible that you could get swept up in that. That is
Exactly.
just the reality.
Listen, the vast majority of the people
You'll
who
get
have
swept
been
up and
detained
kept up.
do not have criminal records.
If you're living with a
75%.
gang member, you gotta know that's a possibility.
The people
Okay.
that were scooped up in this residential building in the middle of the night, you're just making things
okay.
up.
As another
You're making things
No,
up.
she's not.
Most of
She's
the people that have been
no, she's not making it up. She is not making it up at all. They're not just swooping up on people who have no charges or who have no wrongdoing whatsoever. Now, if you have broken the law while obtaining their suspect and obtaining their subject, then of course, then yes, like any other person, you're going to be held to justice, period.
Is there proper training happening here when it comes to ICE?
there's not. We've all seen it. And there should be.
You definitively state that they're not being properly trained. Do you know that?
There should be.
Thank you. Let's go, Scott.
That have been locked in people's bathrooms. They're abandoning small children alone in
False.
cars while they. No, it's not false. Look it up. Don't just say false. I actually.
Abandoning small children. They
Yes,
turn the children over to HHS.
there were actually small children abandoned in a highway.
CNN has one of the biggest airwaves possible in the whole entire world. Their job is to disseminate information for the masses. And you have her out here telling the whole public, telling the whole world that, I mean, it's just so all these falsehoods, all these negative portrayals and stereotypes, all to keep your ass safe at night. You were such against it. I don't care if they black, brown, white, yellow. It does not matter. Her argument has no argument, because I have seen, and you probably seen across the board, TikTok, wherever, there has been black people deported. There has been white people stopped and detained by ICE and immigration and kicked out. Canadians, all different, Australians, Africans. They ain't tripping. They ain't caring. They not caring about your race. They not. So do not use black people in vain for this argument.
Your rights may still be violated.
Look at Anna. She is so triggered right now. Have you ever seen her so uncomfortable right now? And have you ever seen her drink her coffee so much times?
Again,
I mean, is that coffee really that good?
No,
No, it is not.
We got data.
Honestly, I actually.
She's nervous. She's shooken. And this is pretty much how it always goes, how it always ends. Scott ends up refuting the facts, and it all blows up to pieces. No one wants to lose this American dream. CNN, stop perpetuating this false narrative of ICE being the boogeyman. On the flip side, there arguably are heroes, keeping us safe from the outside invaders. CNN, you got to do better.